Okay, Mrs. Armstrong.
Yes, Ms. Judge.
Okay, you brought this case before the court. What's going on?
Well, Miss Tally over here, we decided to have a baby together about 3 years ago, and we got a divorce, and now I just need her to pay some child support.
Okay. Well, you guys are going through a divorce, right?
Well, yes, sorry, we're going through a divorce. I wish it was over already, but I have been paying health care for a long time, ever since the baby was born.
How much is the health care?
It's $111 a month.
Welcome back to Judge Bench, the home of real courtroom drama and in-depth analysis. Today, we're reviewing an intense and emotionally charged case from Support. Court with Judge Vonda B. Armstrong. Versus Armstrong. In this case, we witness not just a legal battle over child support, but the raw tension between two former partners, both claiming to have the best interest of their child at heart. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button, so you never miss a case breakdown here on Judge Bench. The case begins with Judge Vonda B. opening the court, calling for all to rise, and then addressing the parties in the Armstrong case. Mrs. Armstrong, the petitioner, explains that she and Ms. Tally had a child together 3 years ago and later separated. Mrs. Armstrong now has full custody of their 2-year-old son, Alex, and seeks child support from Ms. Tally. According to her, she has been covering all the expenses, including $111 per month for the child's health insurance.
Okay.
This baby is 2 years old. We've been together for about 3 years, and I just, that's a lot of money,
Okay, and you want her to pay child support?
and I need that money.
Okay, she needs that money. You don't want to pay that money?
No, ma'am. Instead, I want to spend time with this child. She's not allowing me to see my son, Alex, for the last year and a half.
Okay.
I mean, I have an amazing 2-year-old son that I'm being denied access to see. And I do not believe that I should be paying child support.
Ever since he was born, her position is clear. She wants financial help to continue raising their child, and she believes Ms. Tally should contribute. Judge Vonda B. confirms that the child is indeed 2 years old, and that the couple had been together for about 3 years before the relationship ended. She questions Ms. Tally about why she hasn't been paying child support. Ms. Tally responds that rather than sending money, she wants to be present in her son's life, claiming that she has been denied access to see him for over a year and a half. She argues that being part of Alex's life is more important than paying child support and doesn't think it's fair to pay when she's not allowed to see her son. When Judge Vonda B. presses Mrs. Armstrong about this, she admits that she has not allowed Ms. Tally to see Alex. Her reasoning is simple. She believes time is not money, and since Ms. Tally hasn't helped financially, she shouldn't expect visitation rights. But Judge Vonda quickly shuts that down.
Rather than I should be able to spend time with my son and actively be in his life.
Okay. Is there a reason you have not been allowing her to see Alex?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a reason for that?
Well, Judge, I feel like time is not money. And,
Well, stop. Hold on. It's not money, but you would agree with me that she is the mother, right?
Yes.
Okay. And would you want for her to deny you access to Alex?
Well, it would be
It's
different.
a yes or no?
No.
Okay, then.
Reminding her that parenthood isn't conditional. Denying a parent access to their child just because they aren't paying is not only unethical, but could even be grounds for contempt in a different court. If a custody agreement were already in place, the judge emphasizes that visitation and child support are two separate issues. One doesn't cancel out the other. Judge Vonda confirms that Alex lives primarily with Mrs. Armstrong, making her the custodial parent. She then makes it clear that this arrangement cannot continue as it is. Mrs. Armstrong has no legal authority to deny Ms. Tally access to their son. The court firmly states that both parents are important in the child's life, and withholding visitation is simply not acceptable. If Mrs. Armstrong wants child support, she must also allow Ms. Tally a relationship with their son. It's not a transaction, it's a shared responsibility. Ms. Tally appears frustrated but doesn't resist the ruling. She asks if she has to be around Mrs. Armstrong when visiting her son and whether pickup arrangements can be made.
You do not have a reason to not allow her to see her son.
But she doesn't help me take care of my son.
Now, financially, we'll get to that in a moment. She's not going to have a choice if the child is living with you primarily. Is that what's
Correct.
going on?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and how often do you allow her to see him at all?
No.
Okay, now that's going to change today. You do not have any authority to do that. You do not have it both ways. You can't say, I want her to pay this money, but at the same time, I don't want her to see our son. It doesn't work like that.
Well, once she starts paying me some money, then she can also start seeing the son.
Well,
Judge Vonda reminds both parties that co-parenting is part of the responsibility they share. They don't need to like each other, but they do need to communicate and cooperate for Alex's sake. The judge stresses that decisions must be made based on what's in the child's best interest, not based on lingering anger or financial disputes. Then the discussion turns to finances. Judge Vonda B. has reviewed Ms. Talley's tax returns and confirms her annual gross income is $6,000. After deductions, her net income comes down to $4,189.79 with one child to support and considering the health insurance. Premiums already being paid by Mrs. Armstrong. Ms. Talley is ordered to pay a total of $1,069 per month in child support. This amount includes reimbursement for the $111 monthly health insurance cost. Ms. Talley doesn't object to the financial ruling. In fact, she seems somewhat amused, smirking at the amount, which catches the judge's attention. Judge Vonda B. warns her not to treat the matter lightly. It's not about the money. It's about what the money represents.
so you turned in some tax returns up here. I have your gross at $6,000 a year. And how many children? It's just Alex,
It's
right?
just one. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any other children outside of Alex?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So that brings your net down to $4,789.79 for one child. And then you do have to reimburse her health insurance because she's
Absolutely.
been paying it. You're okay with that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, you don't really have a choice, so okay.
A contribution to raising a child. They both brought into the world. The judge reinforces that Mrs. Armstrong will no longer be allowed to deny visitation. Moving forward, Ms. Talley must be permitted to pick up and spend time with her son, and they need to work out a reasonable and consistent schedule. As the hearing concludes, Judge Vonda B. summarizes the case. Mrs. Armstrong sought child support and initially withheld visitation. Ms. Talley refused to pay support because she wanted time with her son. But what we, the viewers, didn't hear in the courtroom was that the parties had already been operating under a split possession schedule. That means Mrs. Armstrong would be designated as the primary parent, while Ms. Talley, as the non-custodial parent, would be ordered to pay child support and contribute to medical expenses. This case highlights the importance of separating personal grievances from parental responsibilities. Whether married, divorced, or separated, both parents have a legal and moral duty to contribute to their child's upbringing, emotionally and financially. Denying one responsibility because the other isn't being met only leads to legal trouble and emotional damage for the child involved. Thanks for watching this breakdown here on Judge Bench. If you found value in this analysis, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment with your thoughts on the case, and subscribe to the channel for more real courtroom drama and honest reviews. We'll see you in the next one.